baby, J-Rocc is here. It is time for the great one, the YouTube People Champ. Oh, to do another reaction, baby, let us pause just for 1 second and show some love to the subscriber of the day, Spiky2999. You've been subscribed to J-Rocc for a long, long time. J-Rocc, appreciate you rocking with it for this long, and J-Rocc just asked you to do one thing, and that is go and electrify like only you can. Talk of the town of the last couple of days has been the one and only Shadeur Sanders. And given how he played this past Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, completed 3 of 6 passes for 7 yards, sacked 5 times, negative yard gain of, I think it was negative 27 yards. Not good. I don't think I need to go any further than that. The question on everybody's mind is Cleveland and Kevin Stefanski, are they sabotaging Shadeur Sanders? And I think that in order for us to properly and objectively answer this question, we need to take a quick look at the history of the Cleveland Browns. So let's take the next 10 minutes and let's take a look at the history of the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to the creator of this video, Spencer Premier. I'll put the link to this original video down in the description so you can go and show him some love. Let's take a look at the history of the Cleveland Browns so that we can answer the question, is Shadeur Sanders being sabotaged? It is show time.
The Cleveland Browns are a franchise known for dominating the early times of the sport of football, but more recently, they have put on a clown show and have been the laughingstock of the league, and at times, it even feels like they are cursed. So from Jim Brown carrying the Browns to championships, to the team leaving and coming back, through all the heartbreak, all the impossible moments, the story of this franchise is truly unbelievable. So, it all starts back to 1944 when Cleveland businessman Arthur B. McBride acquired a franchise in the new American Football Conference that would begin play in 1946. McBride's first move after getting the team was to hire Paul Brown, who had been a very successful high school, college, and service coach, as coach and general manager. The teams in the AAFC were essentially on par with those in the NFL, but during the first decade of post-World War II professional football, the Cleveland Browns emerged as the top team in either league. This was largely due to the leadership of all-time greats like quarterback Otto Graham, fullback Marion Motley, and tackle kicker Lou Groza. Cleveland secured all 4 AAFC championships and achieved a remarkable 52-4-3 record. When the AAFC disbanded after the 1949 season, many argued that a significant reason was the Browns' dominance, which eliminated any viable competition. The AAFC NFL merger agreement included the Browns, San Francisco 49ers, and Baltimore Colts joining the NFL. Many staunch NFL reporters, still skeptical of the Browns' legitimacy, anticipated Cleveland would struggle against the established NFL teams. However, the Browns swiftly proved their dominance was genuine by starting the 1950 season with an impressive 35-10 victory over the defending NFL champion Philadelphia Eagles. Cleveland then went on to win the NFL Eastern Conference Championship for 6 consecutive years from 1950 to 1955, along with NFL titles in 1950, 1954, and 1955. The Browns won another divisional title in 1957, a year that saw a great running back from Syracuse named Jim Brown. In his 9-season career, Jim Brown rushed for 12,312 yards, a lifetime record that stood for more than 20 years. The Paul Brown era concluded after the 1962 season, and he was succeeded by his former assistant, Blanton Collier. Under Collier's leadership, the Browns secured their last NFL championship in 1964, defeating the Baltimore Colts 27-0. Paul Brown was great, but he didn't really keep up with how the NFL was evolving. In 1961, Arthur B. Modell purchased the Browns for a then unheard of price of $4 million. From the start, he was recognized as one of the NFL's more progressive leaders, but Modell stunned all of Cleveland and the football world in 1995 when he announced that he would transfer his Cleveland franchise to Baltimore. And looking back, this was the beginning of a straight downward spiral for the Browns, as we all know. Determined to keep the team in Cleveland, Browns fans and city officials launched an unprecedented grassroots campaign to prevent the move. The NFL swiftly responded and collaborated with city officials to develop a unique solution. This plan included the construction of a new state-of-the-art stadium and guaranteed the return of professional football to Cleveland by 1999 at the latest. Additionally, Art Modell agreed to relinquish the Browns' names, colors, and team history to the new owner of the suspended franchise. So in '99, the team was back, and from here I can really go into detail about what happened because I was actually alive for most of this time. The summer was truly one to remember for a city that had seriously missed its football, but the actual team itself was pretty brutal, with all the talent being moved over to Baltimore. The Browns basically had to start from scratch. Jim Donovan recalled the disappointment the fans had when they realized this was not near the same team as before. We obviously were very naive, but I think everybody just sort of felt they were going to pick right back where they left off. New owner Al Lerner was a billionaire. Everyone knew that he would spend a great deal of money, but this team was built around an expansion draft, and honestly, fans felt impatient waiting for this team to rebound back to their winning ways. But this was still a football town, and either way, a lot of people were just grateful to get football back in the city. The Browns finished the '99 season with a 2-14 record, so there was nowhere to go but up from here. At least that's what we all would have thought. Moving on and flipping over the calendar to the year 2000, this was the Browns' second go at things. And with the first overall pick in the draft, they selected Courtney Brown, a defensive end out of Penn State. Kicker Phil Dawson was the Browns' leading scorer with 59 points. The Browns' total offense ranked last in the league, while their total defense ranked 26th in the league. In 2001, the Browns had an okay season, but this was the one where Bottlegate would happen, maybe the craziest moment and worst officiated game we had seen in recent years. Basically, there was a whole scandal where there was an incomplete pass that was initially ruled a catch on 4th down, but the Browns already clocked the ball and ran another play. And the refs ruled that there was a malfunction in the system and they were trying to review it, so for the first time in NFL history, the officials went back 2 plays to make a call. And this was a crucial game for the playoff standings, and the fans let them hear it after.
Should that be intentional grounding?
Should it?
Yes. I believe the way the rule's written, that's exactly what it is.
Replay buzzed prior to the snap. We'll be looking to see if the last pass was incomplete or complete.
Forget the potential grounding call, which I thought the Jags were going after originally. They were saying Quincy Morgan was juggling that ball. And I mean, this is serious stuff here in Cleveland. People are getting hurt. It's ridiculous. You're only hurting yourselves by throwing stuff on the field.
Really, the seasons following were not much to write home about, so I'm going to skip forward a decade to the season when Peyton Hillis decided to break out for a one-year wonder season, rushing for nearly 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns, helping lead the Browns to a 5-win season, which shockingly was more than normal. And because that year the Madden cover was up to voting, Browns fans rallied together, and before we all knew it, Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden 12, which led him to get hit by the curse. But it was still something positive for this fan base that was watching brutal football year after year. The Browns wouldn't see a decent season after this until 2014 when they went 7-9, but there still was really not too much to write home about. And after this is when they would draft Johnny Manziel out of Texas A&M. And if you watch the documentary about this whole situation, you know everything that went down. But basically, he had the most hype out of college for a QB that we had seen in many years, and he secretly was trashing himself and barely made it to the draft. But the clowns of course picked him, and he lost his love for the game right away, became super depressed, and basically threw his life away to the point where even his parents couldn't help him. Even though in my opinion, his dad was an enabler. But anyways, that was that. And the Browns were back to square one, and the 2016 and 17 seasons were a sight to behold. The worst 2 seasons of football back-to-back in NFL history. It's almost not even believable how bad they were. So I'm just gonna play some of the lowlights.
Roethlisberger over the middle. That's caught at the 35. Antonio Brown on his horse.
Kaiser off the hands, and Leno got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did! Hogan on the move. Throwing, it's intercepted! Tyus Bowser, the pick!
Yeah, they did it. They had a perfect season, and Browns fans rallied to celebrate it with a parade. But after, things would finally start to turn for the better. But this franchise was still cursed. they drafted Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma, a pick that many Browns fans doubted because it just felt like the same story all over again. But they also started to bring in other talent like Jarvis Landry, who would completely change the culture. They drafted Nick Chubb and so much else. And after Tyrod Taylor went down in the Jets game and Baker Mayfield replaced him, we all saw a potential franchise QB for the first time in decades. The ball zipped out of his hands, and he set franchise records as a rookie. The Browns ultimately missed the playoffs in 2018, but things were finally headed uphill. But then, in typical Browns fashion, they completely sucked the following year with Odell Beckham Jr. and went 6-10. It was just awful to witness, but then after changing some things and hiring Kevin Stefanski in 2020, the Browns went 11-6, made the playoffs, and went on the road in a round 1 wildcard game to face the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they absolutely took it to them and shocked the world. As a Browns fan, it was a sight to behold, just an absolute beatdown, and they advanced to round 2 against the Chiefs. And man, I have a hard time reminiscing on this game because the Browns were right there, and a missed helmet-to-helmet call and a failed last drive kept the Browns out of their best chance to make the Super Bowl in decades. But there's a reason why the Chiefs are a dynasty. They just knew and still know how to win. The following season, the Browns struggled once again. Baker Mayfield would get injured and eventually traded, and the Browns would make a blockbuster trade for Deshaun Watson, who was suspended the first 11 games of the season. So basically, the Browns screwed themselves again. I'm not saying it's totally over, but in terms of winning a Super Bowl, it's not looking good. But this team is still super talented. In 2023, Joe Flacco led them on a magical run, but at the end of the day, they were still first-round exits. So that is a summary of the history of the Cleveland Browns in around 10 minutes. I know I didn't cover everything. In fact, I left a lot out. So let me know what else you would have included in the comments below. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point in the video, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. Also, follow me on Instagram because I am posting on there every single day. And until next time, I will see you all later.
J-Rocc says this: now that we have a good synopsis of the history of the Cleveland Browns, I think we can make an objective decision in answering the question as to whether or not Shadeur Sanders is being sabotaged by the Cleveland Browns. Are the Cleveland Browns sabotaging Shadeur Sanders? You mean a team that we just saw in the past, I don't know, what's 30 years have gone to the playoffs 3 times and won 2 games? Prior to the game that they won against Pittsburgh, I think it was 2017, they hadn't won a playoff game since '94. And that's when Bill Belichick was the head coach. Do I think that an organization that we saw had the 2 worst seasons in NFL history, played 2 full 16-game NFL seasons, and won 1 game? And for those of you who don't know, the 1 game they won, former Rookie of the Year, RG3, started that game, but he didn't finish. Do I think that an organization since 1999 has had 40 different starting quarterbacks for them? Do I think that organization is sabotaging Shadeur Sanders? An organization that over the past 30 years have missed the playoffs 98% of the time? Do I think that they're sabotaging a talented quarterback? An organization that when they got maybe the best quarterback they've had in 2 decades, one Baker Mayfield, they decided to trade him away for another quarterback who, as we just saw, would be suspended for the first 11 games of the season because he had 20+ sexual assault allegation cases against him. Allegations, albeit. Do I think that? Oh, and by the way, they gave up, 3 first-round picks to get Deshaun Watson and guaranteed him the most guaranteed money of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. Do I think that organization is sabotaging Shadeur Sanders? No, I don't think they're sabotaging him. I just don't think they know what the hell they're doing. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in the same draft. Traditionally, when that happens, it doesn't go well. Trying to develop 2 at the same time. And prior to them cutting, not cut, they traded Kenny Pickett away for a 5th round pick. They had 5 quarterbacks on their payroll. And before they cut Snoop Huntley, they had 6. So do I think an organization that is notorious for drafting and trading and cutting and drafting and trading and cutting quarterbacks is sabotaging another quarterback? No. They just don't know what the hell they're doing. They have no idea. They don't know how to draft quarterbacks. They don't know how to develop quarterbacks. And rumor has it that Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, picked Shadeur Sanders himself. I don't believe that to be true, but hey, even if he did, do I think that they're sabotaging him? Of course not. Because see, in order to sabotage something, something has to be functioning properly first. Then you do something to intentionally mess it up. So, no, I don't think they're sabotaging him. It's just the Browns doing what the Browns have always done. And that sucks. So, my advice to Shadeur and to also Dylan Gabriel, get out while you can, brother. Get out while you can. You saw what happened to Baker. How they was doing him dirty, traded him away. Now look at him down in Tampa. 2 Pro Bowls, 2 division titles, 2 playoff appearances, a playoff victory, and a $100 million contract. Now, it's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes money, but better than what he was doing in Cleveland. But that's my 2 cents. What do you think? You think they're sabotaging him? Let me know in the comment section. Post your comments down below. Let J-Rocc know. What starts the reaction to this video? No rhyme intended on that line. If you enjoyed J-Rocc's reaction, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Make sure you hit that bell so you'll be notified when it is time to be electrified. Thank you for joining J-Rocc. Stay tuned for his next video. Mamba, GG, and Wakanda forever. With J-Rocc!